Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I'm excited. I'm really, really, really excited. I hope it lives up to my excitement. Like, it obviously, guys, will come down to how sharp is MaxPax, how well does he play. I don't think we need to talk too much about Protoss being underpowered, Protoss not having a chance. MaxPax has looked incredibly good against basically every Zerg in Europe that is not Serral, because he doesn't play Serral very often. The last time they played against each other should have been in the Grand Finals of WCS Europe, well, ESL Masters Europe Summer. Unless they played one more time after that. That was a 4-2 victory for Serral. It was a good finals, though. It wasn't really that one-sided. Actually, no, they played 2 more times after that. And apparently Serral bopped him twice. 2-0, 2-0, so yeah. The numbers scream Serral. I do think that MaxPax has stepped up his game a little bit. But obviously we don't know. We don't know how well he's going to play. We don't know how on point he will be. I hope that we get to see a very, very, very strong Maxi-Paxi. And then may the better player win. I'm in the lobby, by the way. I'm not obviously sitting here for fun. I'm going to go ahead and switch up the overlays. I'm going to disable this one and start this one. Bam, bam. You know what, guys? Nah, it's okay. It will be best of 5. Best of 5. Everything is best of 5 besides the grand finals of the tournament. That should be best of 7. Discriminating Terrence because of the home story cup thingy? Nah. It's just that obviously I want to cast a big online tournament. I've casted everything of this tournament. But I don't know if I want to put myself through 4 hours of driving to cast only TVTs. Like, I have passion, but I don't know if there are many people on this planet that have passion to cast TVT best of 5, TVT best of 5, TVT best of 7. Like, if that happens, then I think I'd rather just stay in Germany. I feel like that is acceptable. Alright, guys. Why I got beyond? Because it used to be... they switched the order. It was supposed to be the upper bracket final. It was supposed to be Beyond against Cure at 1. But they swapped it. I'm not exactly sure why they swapped it. But when I checked a couple days ago, it said TVT upper bracket final would be first. I checked yesterday night. All of a sudden, it was MaxPax against Serral first. I didn't know this. I know I even told people yesterday at the end of my stream that we would start off with the TVT. But yeah, they pulled a quick one on us. So it is the PVZ. On Grasvan, by the way. Then we're going to kick things off. I'm just double checking to make sure I did everything correctly. I think I did. I'm really excited. I can't wait. I hope it is as good as what I think it is going to be. Let's do it, guys. Let's enjoy this one. Europe's finest Zerg versus Europe's finest Protoss.
Let's get it on. Round 1. Fight.
In the bottom right side, the Prince of Denmark, Psystorm Gaming's very own MaxPax. I actually had a dream that he left Psystorm. I'm sorry, Psystorm owners, teammates, members. If you're listening, I just realized that I dreamed about this last night. He left Psystorm. I don't know where he went, but that was in my dream. In the top left side of Grasvan, we are looking at the main base of the man from Finland. In the lower bracket, after he lost to Clem in the quarterfinals of the upper bracket, the great Jonas Sotala, the 2-time world champion of StarCraft 2, BASILISK Serral. I am traveling to Home Story Cup today. I will be traveling to Home Story Cup as soon as the final GG is called today. The moment that this final nerd today, after 4 series, says GG, I'm like, alright guys, that's it, bye. I'll put on my shoes, hop into my car, and I'm on my way. That is the plan for Roddy. Beyond versus Cure will happen as a 3rd series of the day. I believe we do this one, then we do Clem Maru, then we do Beyond Cure. They swapped the order. I missed Clem Serral. How did it happen? I think it was 3-0. It was 3-1. Clem played incredibly well. I don't want to say that Serral played bad, but there were like a few tiny moments where it felt that Serral wasn't quite as quick as he often is. And if you're not quick against Clem, you're obviously in for a rude awakening. So, how long is that drive? 2 hours and 10 minutes. Unless I try to go purple in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Then it will be 1 hour and 50 minutes. I'll tell you guys, that Volkswagen has some serious power, so... There's a good chance that Roddy will be purple. We've got Serral, I believe, with the delayed gas. Sorry, guys, I got carried away in my intros. But obviously, he's not going to have ultra quick link speed. What we expect from this series is a lot of Oracle into Twilight. I'd be surprised if MaxPax doesn't go Oracle into Twilight in the majority of these games. MaxPax's adept movement is truly a joy to behold. He's incredibly good with it. We have a first adept, second adept on the way. His target is being built. It will all come down to how clean is Serral's defense. We see Serral often lose almost nothing against Protoss players, and that's why he's amazing in this matchup. We see MaxPax very often against the best Zergs in the European scene get 15 or even 20 drones before minute 7. This will be the dance, guys, that kind of determines it all. Who gets the best of who in the early game. I don't have a fast one, Jurgen von der Weide. I actually don't even know the exact model of my car, guys. It's a Volkswagen. It's not really a hybrid. It's full old school. But it has like a little sticker. I don't know what it is. It's not a GTI. I just don't care too much. It's not special. But it is nice. Sleep tumor for MaxPax. Hey, that's something. If he gets this one too. Yep. These are the little things, guys, that are very important. Because if he would have seen that 1 second too late, the shade finishes up, he'd be like, oh, damn it. Fuck, I made a mistake. I should have killed that creep tumor. Very, very, very quick third Nexus, obviously, on the side of MaxPax. This is something that Harstem likes to do as well. So they warp in that Nexus before they even start their first Oracle. Cool. Serral has made a decent amount of links. 10. He's going to make a few more. MaxPax, careful. You don't want to take any real damage on your Oracle. He took 3 hit points of real damage. Good saves by Yona. Very good save. So far, only a single drone has gone down. That Oracle has taken quite some damage. And that's not something that's really going to make MaxPax's heart beat a whole lot quicker. MaxPax activates the Pulsar Beam there. I thought maybe he could have gone for those still. Obviously, on this level, with how incredibly good these two are, all the little pickups do matter. Oracle number 3 is well on its way. MaxPax has very cool adapt movement with like multiple adapts in different bases, then 2 oracles somewhere, and then the 3rd oracle all by itself, trying to find damage when the queens are not there. Serral skipping this spore is something to keep an eye on. It's not weird. MaxPax needs to be very careful. Gets 2 drones. There could be a moment, guys, where maybe some of the adepts... We don't have many adepts, to be fair. It's almost like MaxPax doesn't believe in adepts against Yona. Yeah, so it really just all comes down to the oracles. MaxPax's macro has been great. Obviously, so has Serral's macro been. Yeah, a very cautious start. That's an interesting move out with 4 stalkers, 2 adepts. He's not even... Oh, he's doing the classic, guys. Thank you so much, Sweet BB Bean. So a long time ago, guys, MaxPax had a build on that beautiful map. I think it was not 2KM, Data C. On Data C, and he busted it out against Raynor in the semi-finals of a European Pro Tour Weekly. He did an amazing job in selling the idea that he was going for Blink Stalkers. So basically, Raynor only made Links, because Links are good against Blink Stalkers, but Roaches are very good against Zealots. So MaxPax shows the Stalkers, makes it seem like he's playing Blink, but he's actually not going to play Blink. He's going to try to hit Serral with a shit ton of Archons and Zealots. And if Serral does not pick up on this, and he does not have any Roaches, he could be in a bit of trouble. Obviously, MaxPax is still macroing though, so maybe he's not even going to try to be all that aggressive. Kind of thought that he would at least try to be a little aggro, but needs to be careful here with his High Templars, but he's going to morph them into an Archon. 7 drones. Before minute 7, and not a single unit has died on the side of the packs while going up to 4 bases. I gotta say, I don't hate it from the Protoss point of view. And some of you guys may wonder, Roddy, you're always biased. Who are you biased for? You love MaxPax, but Serral is your teammate. Honestly, guys, I'm gonna go with an ultimate cliche here. I just really hope for exciting games between these two. MaxPax loses an Oracle. Like, I think whenever you watch Europe's Finest going up against each other in a big online tournament, you just hope for fireworks and may the better player win. That was the first, I think, mistake that MaxPax really made, losing that Oracle there. I'm a little bit surprised that MaxPax didn't try. Ooh, needs to be very careful here, guys. This could get ugly. This could get ugly. 2 High Templars getting picked off there for just a couple of Zerglings. That is definitely a W for Serral. Now, since this game is so macro-oriented and they're both so rich, I don't think that 2 High Templars are going to make or break the game. But obviously, these are things that are going to give Jonas some confidence, give Jonas some momentum. And his economy is obviously off the charts as well. And these are the little things that you get Omega tilted over as a Protoss. Because you know you're not supposed to lose 300 gas there of those 2 High Templars. The Hive is damn quick, man. Like, we're 8 minutes and 20 seconds into a game. And that Hive is done. And that Lurker then is finishing up as well. Yeah, I don't think he's been supply blocked one time, Mana. Or at least I didn't see it. The macro has been very good for MaxPax, but he is also laying his bet right now. And what you guys may notice is that I'm casting it a lot from the Protoss point of view. And that's not because, oh, Ronnie's so Protoss Omega biased. It's just because Serral's the favorite. I don't know what you guys settled for percentage-wise. Everybody thinks Serral is going to win in this matchup. Normally the Zerg wins on big moments, so we're going to talk a little bit more from the Protoss' point of view. Because it obviously kind of comes down to MaxPax maybe punching a tiny bit above his weight. So I find that storyline slightly more interesting than just telling you guys how good Serral is. Serral has 3 Lurkers, but obviously the Lurkers don't have their speed upgrades yet. That War Prism in the main base is a bit of an issue. Those are some nice storms, by the way. Not bad damage here, guys. More damage for MaxPax, as he is ultra rich. Sure, lost a lot of Zealots in the main, but keeps a lot of the key units alive. I think MaxPax is not ultra upsetty over how that went. The only thing that really sucks is that he, I think, lost his Observer. Now, I don't know how he lost that Observer, but it's very dangerous if you're a Protoss and you're on creep. And you don't really know what's out there. You know Lurkers are out. You don't just want to rely on Revelation. I don't think he lost the War Prism. War Prism is chilling. Lost 20 Zealots, though. It's a lot of Lurkers, guys, and Lurkers are very, very, very good against the army that MaxPax currently has. Now, it does often come down to engagements, but if there's one thing that Serral has always excelled at throughout his entire career, it is, of course, taking amazing engagements. There's another High Templar gets picked off. I'm starting to get worried for MaxPax. In a game where you can technically say it didn't look all that bad, I just don't love this kind of an army against Lurkers, and the Lurker count is pretty high. And because MaxPax has 94 fucking probes, which obviously you can say, like, that's great, right? That's economy. 94 probes means maximum army supply of 106. Yeah, that's not a lot. It's very hard to take good fights with ground toss if your max army is 106. Now, he is transitioning into Tempest, and even just a couple of Tempests are going to keep him safe. And it seems like we're going to get a nice macro game. I don't think this Lurker push is going to kill MaxPax, because all you really need is just 2-3 Tempests and you will survive. Somebody in the chat writes, ew, Tempest. And yeah, like, Tempests are really good at staying alive. But are they going to win the game for you? It almost feels that MaxPax is embracing a potential split map, semi-split map scenario and just says, alright, let's play late game. That's a bold move, Cotton, against Serral, but if that is what the Prince feels confident in, who are we to disagree? If there is a world where I see MaxPax defeating Serral today, I kind of thought it would be with just amazing harassment, followed up by strong timings, or just amazing control all around, but a very high pace and be everywhere at once. I didn't really imagine the world of, hey, MaxPax is going to sit back and Serral's going to sit back, and then eventually MaxPax is going to be fine. That is not a theory that I've played out in my mind. If I was his coach, I would have not recommended that, because I just think Serral in late game and Zerg overall, I do think is better than the ultimate Protoss late game. But we are pretty far away from ultimate late game. We're entering late game. But as long as the upgrades are all over the shop, and maybe there is a potential for MaxPax to take a great fight with an upgrade lead. And Serral's bank isn't that big yet. Like, it's not ultra late game yet. It is kind of funny, because obviously I'm going to drive to Germany as soon as this broadcast is done. That almost every single day so far has been relatively short. As these roaches will get this Nexus. Now, obviously, it'd be funny if out of all the days where I didn't have to go anywhere and I was hoping for long days, that the one day where I'm like, you know, if it would be done around 5, that would be kind of nice for me. If we're going to be busy until 6:30, but it is what it is. If that means that we have a 10 out of 10 day, I'll take it. Blink more than halfway done. We've got the Tempest upgrade on the way as well. That's going to make the shots orange. I just don't really see this game ending anytime soon. We still have some storms available, but... No, we're in for a potential long one here. Does he have adrenal glands? Yes, he does. There are 4 infestors looking for a fungal. 3 Tempests do get fungal. Corrupt count is decent, but it's really not crazy high. I gotta say, I don't hate this that much for MaxPax, guys. Sure, he loses 1 or 2 Tempests, but he killed, I think, a decent amount of Corruptors there. And every other Corruptor took a serious beating. That wasn't too shabby, I think, for MaxPax, guys. I kind of think that he can live with that. We can take a look at the units lost resource tab, and he only lost 1,300 resources. Let's say 2,000 less than Serral. I also think that's okay, of course. I think MaxPax is doing quite well. But how are we going to win? How do we close it? It is, I think, very important for MaxPax to stay very active and stay in the face. You don't, of Serral, because you don't want to see Serral get 3-3, double Spire, very, very good Corruptors, more Vipers, more Infestors, and slowly but steady see that drone count go down. Like, I think if MaxPax wins, it happens when Serral still has a crazy amount of drones. Because if these armies ever go up to like 160 plus army supply, I just think it favors Zerg too much and it favors Serral too much. It is only 1 Spire so far. I don't think carriers suck, but there is a time and a place for the carry. I think as long as Corruptors don't have 3-3 upgrades, and there aren't a million spellcasters out on the map, I don't think carriers suck. It is 2 Spires, you're right. It is now a Greater Spire and a Tiny Spire. It is 2 Spires. Seems like a couple of Stalkers got donated there. MaxPax gets 1 base. There's a little stasis trappy there. Now I think it's time to go to that bottom side. He knows about this one. Doesn't know about this one yet, but he's going to see it. Obviously, there's absolutely no way that Serral is going to be able to protect this hatchery. I don't hate it, how MaxPax is playing so far, guys. I think the Prince of Denmark came to battle. One-shot Broodlord there. But we all know that Serral is very, very, very confident in his own ability to just survive. And the longer he survives, the more likely he thinks it's going to be that he will win the game. Very curious to see how this one plays out. MaxPax feels that he found a tiny opening here. He gets on top of static defenses and he gets a couple of the lurkers, lands a few feedbacks as well. Hey, this is really going somewhere. There's only 2,700 gas in the bank for Serral. That's important to keep an eye on. That's really not that much. But these fungals, they do hit like a truck. Some zoning storms. In the end, we're going to recall a part of the army, but it obviously means that the rest of the army is not all that quick. Serral survives. Serral hangs in there, and somehow this hatchery survived. Double storm on a couple of lurkers that were ready to hop into Enidas. The Vipers will come, but I'm kind of with you. I think even an early Viper is always nice, right? If you land the fungal, if you combine that fungal with Parasitic Bomb, Tempests are as fat as Ruddy, so basically one Parasitic Bomb is going to circle around the fat Tempest. Everything takes damage. Just came in, is MaxPax winning this? No, I think it's way too early to say that MaxPax is winning it. It's just, I think the next 2-3 minutes are going to be very important. MaxPax cannot let this game slow down any further. Obviously, what about a Dark Shrine, by the way? I'm very surprised we don't have a Dark Shrine. With this amount of money, I kind of think that having a defensive Dark Shrine just for those few moments where maybe there is no Overseer, I think that would help. +3 air weapons is close to finishing up. A +2 plasma shields as well. No, +3, excuse me. +3 plasma shields. Maybe there's a free Broodlord there for the Tempest. Tempest count currently 12, guys. Fungo has potential. Lands on an 4 observers. On an observer and an Archon. There are no Vipers yet, but that is just a matter of time. Serral trying to get a Nidus up in the main. Very important, by the way, guys, that MaxPax does not max out. I think what MaxPax kind of needs is always a couple of supply available, so you can warp in a few Zealots. This is late, though. Will Lurkers get out? No, Lurkers will not get out. But Lynx do get a cancel or a kill on a Nexus. Battery overcharge against a couple Zerglings. Battery overcharge. Holds strong. Yeah, maybe it's just because MaxPax is so heavy on High Templars and Vipers. And obviously has Oracles for Revelation that Serral feels it's not worth it to get Vipers yet. The banks are climbing. That's not necessarily bad for MaxPax, but I do think you really need to start battling before that drone count goes down. Because the bigger the armies get, in my opinion, the more that it favors the Zerg spellcasters. Now the knight is going up with a cheeky burrowed Zergling, by the way, very cute. A lot of lurkers hopping out of a Nidus, getting on top of this base. MaxPax forced to recall, does not want to lose another Nexus. Cannot kill this Nidus in time. Ooh, one lurker left behind, by the way. One lurker left behind, there is no detection, no detection. One High Templar dead. And doesn't get the second one. Wait, we don't even have a Robo Bay either, eh? Kinda crazy that he doesn't have Observer speed in a game like this, if we are battling at the bottom. I don't really like where the game is going for MaxPax. I kind of think that Yona has survived the part of the game that was maybe somewhat scary. Now you've got these terrifying Zerg upgrades finishing up. He's finding damage with the lurker attacks. Not a single Robo Bay or Dark Shrine was built while having 10,000 minerals and 6,000 gas. Isn't that weird? Thank you, Tunchain, for the 5 gifted subbies. I am feeling the same as you, Mana. Obviously, when you go this heavy on the Archons, what you're basically hoping for is that maybe Serral makes a mistake with the Corruptors and they can get big hits off, or you just believe that you are an absolute Protoss god and can position the Archons perfectly. Finally a Dark Shrine, by the way. And make it impossible for the Corruptors to get on top of the Tempest. This is going to be a long day, guys. Roddy's going to show up in Krefeld by the time that the tournament is over. This is what I meant, by the way, guys, with not being maxed out. Because if you're maxed out, you cannot warp anything in. You cannot deny a Nidus. Ooh, that's a cute move by Serral. Making it a little bit harder for MaxPax to clean this up. Couple of queens, more queens hopping out. Like, all of this is just going well for Yona. Careful with those High Templars, Maxi Paxi. Obviously the Tempest in the end will keep the Protoss main base safe. But yeah, we are now starting to enter that phase of the game where Serral can build more spores, more spines, reduce the drone count and get more army supply. I am surprised that this is how MaxPax thinks he can win. But hey, as the Farsi used to say in Warcraft 3, seeing is believing. Oh my goodness, Yona uses the ugly Ultra. What the hell is even that? That thing's so ugly. Very strong though. Great upgrade, guys. It's terrible. It actually is so terrible. I hate that skin, I'm sorry. Fungo lands on a couple of the Tempests, another Fungo goes down, third Fungo goes down, and MaxPax is going to take a very brutal fight here, guys. His army just doesn't do good. The Archons are going to struggle with the Broodlord still there. Relying on Serral making a mistake or Serral being in a bad spot for your army to shine, that really goes well. We're now rebuilding a lot of Void Rays. And Void Rays, guys, are very good units, except for the fact that the Zerg spellcasters completely obliterate them. Well, Serral has a couple of the Zerg spellcasters. 7 of them. Now, Protoss players have evolved, guys. It took us 13 years, but we're kind of good at spreading Void Rays now. So a single a single Parabomb or Fungal will not kill every single Void Ray. Yeah, I don't know. I think Serral will absolutely build Vipers once he sees these Void Rays coming out, but I think at this point Serral's going to build Vipers immediately. There you go. So Serral apparently does not believe in Vipers against Tempest. The moment he sees Void Rays, he's like, alright, now we're going for that Wombo combo. Fires them Vipers up immediately. This was a game with a lot of potential. And I was feeling it, and I was excited for a little bit. Now I kind of feel like it's going out like a candle in the wind. I've only ever seen Serral lose a game like this one time. And I know that sounds like a meme, but legitimately just one time. And that was against Zaun on Data C as well. Boring game, long game. And these are not necessarily my favorite games either. But it has been exciting up to this point, because I always thought something big was going to happen. So I was intrigued. I was excited. At this point, I'm a little bit less excited. But maybe there will still be some hidden excitement. I don't think there's a lot of hidden excitement here, but another Fungal lands. Nice storms by MaxPax. More decent storms. Archon's doing a pretty decent job in keeping those Corruptors at bay. MaxPax supply very low. One carrier is all by itself. Flying back to battery overcharge is kind of cute. If only, guys, the Archons had blink. You know how cool this game would be if Archons could blink? Imagine a couple of Corruptors, Archons blink. Woohoo! Big shots. You've never seen Serral lose a game like this one time. Against Zaun at, was it DreamHack? I think it was it DreamHack Atlanta? Where the casters were in Sweden. The casters were in Sweden. And I think DreamHack was Home Story. On Data C? Yeah, you're right. It was Home Story on Data C. With a big epic fight in the top left side. Production tab. I can show you the production tab. Not everyone is Siege Tank either. I think you're being too negative there. Not all the games are different. This is just a map where this does happen. Let's not get too dramatic, guys, and carried away and pretend that every single game is like this. I think I've done Masters Coliseum every single day besides one, but there was no PvZ there, or maybe one actually. And I watched those games back. I did qualifiers. I haven't seen a single game like this in the entire tournament. So not all the games are like this, but yeah. Serral will embrace games like this because he knows he's incredibly good at it. Oh, sick move, by the way, with the Void Race. Like, yeah, you cannot blame Serral for playing the kind of game that he's very confident in if MaxPax lets it get there. MaxPax clearly kind of embraces. At one point, he could have doubled down on aggression. He could have really gone for it. But MaxPax also slowed the game down a little. And then Serral says, alright, mate, thanks. I actually like this. Okay, yeah, MaxPax definitely has a Flux Veins. You guys can see that here. They basically both have all the upgrades they need. The only thing that I find weird is that MaxPax doesn't have a Robo Bay for Warp Prism speed and Observer speed. Those are still things that I would always get. Even if I don't want to build Colossus or Disruptors, I would get a Robo Bay for those upgrades. I mean, they both have absolutely monstrous banks. Kind of silly. Feedback lands on one of the Vipers. Taking a look at the units lost resource tab, we can already see that the time and the place, guys, where Serral lost a little bit more has been gone. And Yona has been able to take some excellent trades over the last 10 minutes. MaxPax now losing 10k more. It's a cool idea to just move a couple of Void Rays around. I would definitely bring an Observer with these hit squads. Because burrowed infestors are a thing. You know, I know you're joking, Ascent, when you say MaxPax's gas very low, barely 3.5k. But actually, I don't know if you meant to or not, but you make a good point. Because 3.5k, it seems like a lot, right? Like, oh, they're both so rich. But 3.5k isn't that much. If they have an all-out fight where they both lose everything, like MaxPax's current army value is worth 6,400 gas. So the 3.5k gas is actually small, because he can only build half of his current army back. Like, Serral can absolutely just rebuild his entire army, right? He's cooking. He can afford that. He still has great income. There's plenty left to be mined. So he doesn't have to worry that much. MaxPax does have to worry. Because 3.5 gas, if you lose 100 army supply, you burn through that very, very quickly. How many carriers is 3.5k? Carriers are expensive, but I don't know how expensive. I think it's 250 gas for a carrier. Damn, that sounds wrong. Is it like 350, 200? Oh, really? 350, 250? Okay. This will get to 45 minutes, right? That I don't know. It really depends. It depends how much risk either player is willing to take. 15 carriers is a lot, but you can't really build only carriers. If you build only carriers, you will just always die to Corrupted Viper Infested. Only carriers is not really a thing. That would only ever be a thing if you have great upgrades and the Zerg has no upgrades. Then you can win with only carriers. But we're 29 minutes into the game. Serral had double Spire since minute 14 or whatever. So you've got Corruptors with +3 armor. And carriers are just not that good against Corruptors with +3. Does that mean Protoss cannot win late game? I kind of shy away from statements like that because I don't like to be a whiner. But then there's also people that get upset over me not having an opinion. I don't want to say that Protoss can't win late game, but I think Zerg is actually heavily favored in the ultra late game. So I'm not talking early late game with high probe counts, but very, very late game where you both have big banks and the worker counts are low. Yeah, I think Zerg is heavily favored. That is, in my opinion, the biggest problem that Protoss has in the entire game. I know Reddit thinks it's the Widow Mine, but shocking fucking announcement, it's not the Widow Mine. Ultra late game ZVP is actually the biggest problem that Protoss faces in competitive StarCraft, in my opinion. And you guys can agree or disagree all you want. I think that is the biggest issue that Protoss has. This is one hell of a setup here, by the way. Even bigger than EMP. EMP is very good, but it's definitely not the biggest problem. Because I don't think anybody really thinks that Protoss cannot win ultra late game against Terran. Like for every Protoss that complains Terran late game is good, Terrans complain that Protoss late game is good. So I don't think that's the thing. I don't like to whine because I think 99% of the games actually get decided by the decisions that players make. And there is always a different guy that could have done something better. And the skill ceiling is incredibly high in StarCraft 2. But if I have to whine about one thing, if you guys say, Roddy, stop being a fucking pussy and speak out about something, I will speak up about ultra late game PvZ. Worker counts get low, banks are massive. Yeah, I think Zerg is heavily favored. And I've literally seen Serral lose one game against Zone. But I didn't pay ultra close attention to the game because I'll be dead honest. Sometimes when these games happen and I'm not casting and I'm not observing, I kind of just zone out a little bit. Because I love StarCraft, but I don't love 20 minutes of nothing with the Zerg winning in the end. I mean, call me out, say that I've lost my passion, but I know I'm not the only Protoss who feels the same way. So I don't know how Zaun won that game exactly. I just remember looking at it, it's like, oh, here we go again, Serral wins. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh my fucking god, Zaun won! How? What about late game TVZ? No, late game TVZ is actually slightly more Terran favored. Because Ghosts are incredibly fucking good. But I think unless the map is shit, like Neo-Humanity is a bit of a crap map. But I think unless the map is shit, I think late game TVZ is very exciting. Obviously, camping to mass Ghost can really suck for the Zerg. But more often than not, there is something that Zerg can do. But guys, like I'm literally taking 17 precautions here on trying not to balance wine. So hopefully you guys do not now only focus on the one thing that I complain about. As I don't want to be a complainer. Like, these guys are all amazing. They're so fucking good at StarCraft. And I think whining about the game is just such a disservice almost. And this is almost disrespectful to how good these guys are. I prefer to focus on positives rather than that kind of stuff. But yeah. I would also be lying if I say my Protoss heart doesn't bleed a little bit when I see these kind of games over and over and over and over again. Protoss is not a weak in the early game. I think Protoss is not weak in the mid game. I don't think Protoss is weak in the late game. But this is no longer just late game, right? Because the worker count is at 29. So now we're reaching a whole nother level of StarCraft. Yeah, this is one thing that I would like to see changed. You're not wrong, Captain Neilby, because Neep always got a shit ton of compliments from every other Protoss and every Zerg about his ability to play the ultra late game. Like, the way that Neep found some success, guys, is basically nothing but cannons, batteries, pylons everywhere, even random nexus for overcharge, and then you just slowly move forward with Tempest. I really dislike that ultra late game. Why not call it end game? I don't know. If you want me to call it end game, I can call it end game. Whatever floats your boat, mate. If I can make you happy with that, then I can do that. I don't feel very strong about it. Lots of people call it end game. Nana calls it end game. Alright. I will try to start calling it the end game. I don't know. Well, we are nearing that end game. MaxPax has 2800 gas, and he is bleeding out some expensive units slowly but steady. Does have a good army. Like, obviously, guys, Serral can still make mistakes, but Serral doesn't make a lot of mistakes. A fungal. There is a fungal. I am actually surprised that he didn't land bigger fungals there, guys. He had a lot of infestors waiting for sick fungals on the high ground. Kind of feel like that was a tiny bit of a missed opportunity. Maybe Serral was looking elsewhere, because he's completely destroying the natural of MaxPax. This is obviously what the great Jonas Sutala does. Got a couple banelings in the mix here. I like how we have slow banelings 35 minutes into the game. But I think these are legitimately the first banelings Serral has made. This is the Boudoir Ultra skin. Oh my god, they're so tanky, by the way. Void Rays are good against Ultras, right? Question mark? That was a lot of Void Rays attacking an Ultra, guys. Weird to call it endgame. I mean, I just can't please you guys anymore. Nice storms on the links, but Serral can make, I think, around 2,600 links more. Probably even more than that. Maybe my math is bad. How many links can Serral make of this bank, guys? I know one of you guys is way smarter than me. I feel like it's a lot. You cannot make 1,000 zealots. That's not how it works. If 10 zealots are 1,000 minerals, MaxPax can only make 92 zealots. Ah, it was 2,800. I don't know what the point is of that one Phoenix. I saw it. Maybe MaxPax says, Roddy, this one is for you. Maybe he just wants to put it on top of an Overseer so you can warp in defensive DPs. I think that's the play, probably. But it takes a long time for one Phoenix to kill Overseers with +3 armor. Phoenix, just in case of lifted buildings. No, I really think it's to kill like an individual Overseer, maybe, but whatever. Serral landed a couple of neuroparasites. That bank of MaxPax is dwindling. He's down to 700. And yeah. Maybe it's Greswon that got us here. Maybe it's just MaxPax testing the waters, thinking he has made more steps in his end game, late game, whatever. And he thought, I think I can do this. I have a clear path to victory, and I believe in it. But I think it's very safe to say that that path no longer exists. It's 174 army supply against 169, and these were the scenarios that I was talking about for a while and have been talking about. This is just where I think the Zerg army is a whole lot better than the Protoss army. Their spellcasters just scale better. The units move better. And then on top of that, you're looking at a man who is arguably the best late game ZVP player of all time. I think whether you're a Maru or a Serral or a Rogue Believer, you will probably give it to Serral when it comes to controlling ultra end game, late game armies. We have a couple of fungals, nice feedbacks as well by MaxPax, but the entire Protoss army gets fungaled. Here are these Corruptus, 30 of them in total. Neuroparasite is good, Fungo is good, Parasitic Bomb is good. I'd kind of love to see a Parabomb, and yeah, MaxPax is going to leave in the middle of it. After 37 minutes, it is Serral who wins game 1. Yeah, I kind of think we said it all about that game, right? Unless there is anything that you guys would really like me to answer. Man, let the fight finish. It's bad for your morale to see all your Void Rays get obliterated by Fungo and Parasitic Bomb. No, you cannot recall a Parasitic unit. Or a Parasited unit, no, you cannot. So freaking boring! Alright, enough with the complaining. Also not my favorite game. Most of the chat agrees that this is not our favorite StarCraft. Let's move on. It's not going to get any better if you guys keep moaning and whining. I don't like it. A lot of you guys don't like it. Some of the Serral fans absolutely loved it. Some of the Zergs loved it. It's all good. We're moving on. No, moaning is not cool. Raynor loved it. So for every guy who didn't love it, there is a guy who did love it. Let's move on. I don't know. I'm Trendle. It's very hard to obviously replay the entire game in the back of my mind. There was that one moment where he killed obviously that center base, and then I thought he was going to go to the bottom to at least deny those 2 bases. Because it's very hard to do something about 5 bases, but I think if you have a proper battle around the 6th base, then Serral can never get that rich and that big and have such a large bank. But Serral obviously did a good job with his run-bys, did a good job with the Nidus networks, and where Serral found damage and kept MaxPax busy, MaxPax didn't find any damage and didn't keep Serral too busy. So he kind of got stuck and he just chased, and obviously you're rather the guy that's being chased while doing all your stuff at home than just doing stuff on your side of the map. So Serral did a lot of things right to get where he needed to be. And hopefully for MaxPax it was a valuable life lesson, at least for this patch, that is not the way to go. So what the plan? 2-3 base all in. It doesn't always have to be an all in. You can still be expanding while being aggressive. It's just obviously if we're starting to build Tempest and we are only chasing Nidus networks on our side of the map and we're no longer chasing, or like what I would have loved is maybe a staging ground somewhere with some offensive pylons and batteries that says, all right, this right here is where my army is always safe. I will never have to leave that far. Then I can defend with Warpins, Dark Shrine Zealots at home. And I'm going to try to keep making run-bys happen. Like, there is a way to win without necessarily having to all in of a shit probe count. But, yeah, you need to really be in the face of the Zerg and deny bases and find damage.
Round 2, fight!
What Serral did there, guys, whether you love it or not, is incredibly difficult. If it was that easy, every Zerg would do it. And there are very, very, very few Zergs who do it. There are very few Zergs who get there against MaxPax. And there are even fewer who do it as well as this man. So don't take any credit away from his performance. He is just playing the game that favors him. And he does what he does best. And that is play some late game ZVP. Taking a 1-0 lead in the lower bracket. It's Basilisk Serral. Do I think Fungo is too strong? No. Fungo is good, but Fungo is not the problem. Bottom right side of Babylon, we are looking at the main base of Storm Gaming's very own, the Prince of Denmark, MaxPax. Is the mass gateway style on 90 probes worse than tacking up to air? I don't necessarily know that if it's worse or not, but obviously if Serral gets hive tech and gets a whole bunch of lurkers and has enough to spread them properly, yeah, then you cannot rely on just gateway units. Then obviously you need something else. I personally think that like just gateway units and disruptors can actually find some success too. I think there are ways that MaxPax could have found success in that previous game. I didn't hate the start. I didn't hate the early mid game. Just at one point, Serral did more damage to MaxPax than the other way around. And this wasn't right when Serral had all the money in the world and he had 30 spines and 20 spores. Like, there were openings. It's just that Serral found the openings on MaxPax's side and MaxPax could not find the openings on Serral's side. Let's move on. And let's hope that we have an amazing best of 5 still ahead of us. Hey man, do you go to take today? Yes, I will go to take today. But the take, as I said, I'm very excited, guys, to meet everyone in Germany. I'm very excited to have some beers with everyone, maybe cast a couple games. But it's just a fun event. It's a social gathering. It's kind of like a party. What I'm doing right now is also a party, but this is a work party. And obviously, I still need to do my job. I'm not going to miss out on work because I want to party. Maybe I did that in my 20s, but I am a dedicated, passionate, loving SC2 nerd. So I'm going to watch these games, and then I'll travel to the party. It's a 2-hour drive. 2 hours and 10 minutes. Unless I get a Honda engine, then it's 1 hour and 45 minutes. Red Bull powertrains all the way, baby. Whoop, whoop. MaxPax gonna be perhaps a little bit more adventurous with his depths. Skills Ah, that's unlucky. Kills 3 Zerglings, but loses an Adept right before the shot would go off. So MaxPax loses an Adept, does not get the drone. Serral wins the opening round of this 12-round boxing match. Is Rotterdam the new Artosis? Not sure why I would be the new Artosis, but perhaps. I don't know. I think I'm Roddy. I think that's good enough. I don't think I need to be the new of anyone. I think I can just be the same old version of myself. I am definitely not that angry. No, I do not get that angry of video games. MaxPax is Oracle, guys. Fine. 1 drone. I feel like in every other moment I watch of MaxPax, those are the moments that he gets both. And there was definitely an opportunity. And I know this may sound dramatic, like, oh, okay, whatever, it's single drone. But Serral is so incredibly good in this matchup that you need to capitalize on every single little opportunity that is presented to you. And if you can kill 2 drones, you need to kill 2 drones. He could have already killed 2 more drones, right? If the Adept would have taken 1 more step forward, we would have not gone for a link, but for a drone. Then we would have killed that drone. He could have killed that one that was being transferred. This is the difference, guys, between things snowballing out of control or not. Don't know if MaxPax is very happy with how all of this has went, but he is still going to try. Serral already moving. The Overlord spread is so good, by the way, by Yona. I know it's a bit of a cliche to compliment Zerg players about their Overlord spread. Perhaps not rocket science, but then you look at anybody who is not Serral, and you're like, well, they were out of position for those oracles. They are taking damage. Man, oracles are annoying. So, Yona definitely making all the correct calls here. I guess a Zerg, if I was a Zerg player, right, and I would still have any ambition on trying to improve, I would look at these games and would copy every single thing that Serral has done in the first 5 minutes. Stasis Trappy going up. Obviously, guys, these Stalkers do not have Blink. Last game, MaxPax went a charge before Blink. He's getting a decent amount of damage. Oh, Serral tries to activate the Stasis Trap with a single link from the back. And he does. And that's why he's the guy that everyone is talking about. MaxPax, guys, back-to-back games goes for charge first. Serral last game played Lynx but had a safety Roach Warn. And obviously made a couple roaches. Decent amount even. This game Serral skips out. Well, he has a Roach Warn, but he just gets a much earlier Baning Nest. I feel like... I mean, last game we never even got Baning speed, right? We had a couple Banes 35 minutes into the game. Maybe Serral's playing bingo with himself. He's like, I just want to make sure I can produce every single Zerg unit at least once. And he's like, I'm still missing one. It's the Bane! So 35 minutes into Grassbone, he's like, bingo! This time I do think that we're going to see a lot more emphasis on Banelings trying to blow up mineral lines and whatnot. The Infestation Pit going down 6 minutes and 45 seconds into the game. Obviously last game Serral had an 8-minute hive. MaxPax morphing a couple of Archons. The last game also lost a few High Templars randomly to just Zerglings on his side of the map. I don't think we got the accidental Swarm Host. I wonder, guys, if MaxPax is gonna play this a bit more aggressive. We have a War Prism on the way. The probe count is not quite as impressive as it was on Grassbone. I don't know if that's because he was worried about something or because he's gearing up for indeed a little more aggression. Interesting that MaxPax queues up a Phoenix. Threw down a Revelation, sees that these gases are already taken in the bottom left side. Could have seen a couple of roaches spawning there. Not totally certain what that one Phoenix is all about. Maybe he wants to take away some vision. There's a good chance that he wants to kill like a random Overlord or two. So he can make it more likely that a War Prism can sneak into the main base without being detected. That could be a play. It is not that crazy for Serral to play the way that he has done with the quick hive and the high drone count. If you see that your Protoss opponent is also going up to 4 bases very early and is building a lot of workers and is not on your side of the map. Like Serral is just saying, alright, if you're gonna macro, I'm going to macro. Because Zerg builds units slightly quicker. Careful, MaxPax! This is not the way you can fly in a War Prism into a Zerg main base, my friend. These are little things, obviously, but if there's an Overlord, another Overlord, you warp in underneath the Overlord, you cannot just click a War Prism into the main like that and expect Serral not to be ready. Seems that Serral's gearing up for some aggression. Now, that is something I don't really mind from MaxPax's point of view. Because look at that Roach, by the way. Roach surrounded by morphing Banelings. 35 Banelings morphing at once. Just kidding, that's only for 33. There's a lot of stasis traps, couple of cannons. We have defensive storm. It will all come down to execution here, guys. It will all come down to execution. This is not easy for MaxPax. He is down a little bit in the army supply, but there is maybe some potential. There are some stasis trappies. He's going to fight a small squad of units at the top. Lens an early storm, lens a second storm. There are some zealots chilling in the top left. War Prism still trying to enter the main. Ooh, cute defense actually. The Baneling defense. Yeah, that's what I thought as well, actually, Mark. But then he saw the roaches and he still made the Phoenix. MaxPax normally not a guy that just randomly builds a Phoenix because he's like, oh, maybe it's Mutas. And also, it would have been very late for Mutas, so I think it's more likely that he wants to do some other stuff with it, but who knows. The shield battery overcharge, guys, has not been bad. MaxPax does need to keep his High Templars alive. Lenzen not a storm. I don't hate it for MaxPax. And perhaps that's an understatement. Perhaps it was even very good. Unfortunately, he did F2 the living hell out of that War Prism. Even the Prince of Denmark is human after all. Serral drained his entire piggy bank. 33 Banelings! Do I see that correctly, guys? Now it's 38, so I gotta stop. Couple of Zealots are gonna run to the bottom left side. There were Banelings ready for them. Oh my goodness. Oh. These are little things, guys. Those are the little things that you just need to do a little bit better when you play against the great Jonas Sutala. Are Banelings good? Hell yeah. We all know that they're very good. Do we necessarily have to lose 7 Zealots against 6 Banelings? I don't think that's really needed. This is where I would really love to see a couple of storms. I don't know if we've got energy yet for storms. High Templar here is going to get blown up as well. And this is already a much more successful attack for Serral. He's got Banelings for days. We were a little bit low on the splash damage. Those storms were not too bad, but losing the base and 22 probes against mostly Zerglings. Yeah, that's not totally it, eh? Serral has a lot of creep in the center of the map, knows about that base in the top right. He's going to try to do something about that one too. This could get risky if there is a battery overcharge available, and there is. Don't think that Serral can really stick around there. Gonna morph 26 Banelings again. And Serral is obviously playing on a knife's edge here. I know he's doing very well. Killing that base and all the probes is good. But if Serral takes a bad fight, and it is possible to take a bad fight against Storm, Blink, Archons, +2, battery overcharge. It is possible to take a bad fight. He's got no bank. Like, this game is actually very close. There's a chance that Serral just wins it, but there's also a chance that it goes completely wrong, and it will be MaxPax if he can just keep that battery alive for a little while longer. Lovely splits this time around, by the way, against them Banelings. A lot of extra Banelings running in right now. Archon's doing their thing. Obviously, supply is dropping a little with probes falling, but it wasn't too bad. Losing the base is painful. Losing those 7 probes is painful. Is there any... Ooh, oh my goodness. There's more Banelings that I think connected there. We lost 7 probes initially. We end up losing 21 probes with a few Banes sneaking into the third. And that made it from not so bad to pretty problematic. The final few Banelings there, guys. The final few Banelings. Turning that into something that MaxPax probably not very happy with. He does find some morphing Zerg units in the top side. Has a little hit squad here, not just the Zealots anymore. Serral has picked up on it, but at the same time there is this army as well. There are links in the top right side. This is obviously a lovely little battle, guys, between these two. The army supplies are awfully close. The army supplies are awfully close. Links with Adrenal Glands against Archons, but these links get some surface area. They're really not that bad. And that was a great cleanup. Great cleanup for Serral. And I think Serral has just survived a phase that could have been a tiny bit scary. MaxPax now forgets about an Archon. Is going to lose that. Is going to lose a few more probes here. And it kind of feels that the game is falling apart. Despite the fact that we were only 4 army supplies separated from one another not too long ago. We are now, well, 100 supply in total almost separated from one another. These few links, guys, Getting 17 probes there. We're not even any banelings in the mix. This is the Lings with adrenal glands and +3 melee. They slap, baby. MaxPax knows that he cannot really stay in this game any longer, so he needs to make some magic happen right here, right now. But Archons are not units that are very good in just shoving it in there and taking the best fight ever. Archons are units that can trade, that can protect, and not very good in these Hail Mary shoves. After 14 minutes of almost non-stop action, it is Serral who takes the 2-0 lead in this best of 5. I do think that this game was somewhat close for quite some time. It felt that Serral was very sharp. You think back of some of the early game drones that could have died, that didn't die. You think back of that 9 Zealot run by, that all 9 Zealots surround 2 Banelings. And yeah, obviously in the end, while having some big fights with ultra close army supplies, hitting that triangle right before Storm was ready again was a very big moment. Because the initial wave wasn't even all that hot for Serral. Like, I actually thought MaxPax had very good defense. The way that he shot down that prism, and in the end he killed it because it was already low on HP. Serral's is playing very well. Serral is playing very well. How long has this series been now? Alright guys, I'm actually going to fire up a couple ads. Otherwise you guys may get them in the middle of this game. And then people will get very upset. This series is going to go over the 1 hour mark. So I'm going to do it right now. You guys may miss a tiny bit of game 3. But that's better than having ads in the middle of game 3. I can't wait for Clem to beat Maru. Don't know about that, mate. Maru is the kind of guy to take things personal. And I'm pretty certain that he's still thinking about that Gamers 8 quarterfinals, so. That is not going to be a walk in the park. Is there a chance for MaxPax to claw this back? I was a little bit hopeful that we'll have a very competitive series between these two. And I don't think it's been a walk in the park for Serral, but it has been kind of dominant. If you ask me right now, how likely is it that MaxPax wins 3 games in a row? Honestly, that would be some fake hopium, copium, and caster hype if I tell you, it ain't over till it's over. If anyone can do it, it's MaxPax. Like, this looks really bad. You kind of had to at least take a 1-0 lead or a 1-1. Can you guys remind me, when is the last time that Serral took a 2-0 lead over a Protoss and then lost the best of 5, 3-2? I don't even know till what year you have to go back to give me that one, but that is actually not something that I'm sure that it has happened once, because obviously Serral has not always been the current Serral, but it has to be many, many, many years that happened. Or maybe it happened like one time in the last 5 years. It looks very grim for the last Protoss in this tournament.
Round 3. Fight.
Zest maybe? But I don't think he took a 2-0 lead. Like, I know that obviously Serral lost against Zest, and Serral lost like against Stats in the Stay-at-Home Story Cup. But I don't remember Serral ever taking a 2-0 lead and then losing. Versus Stats in Aces ROG in Finland? Was it 2-0 for Serral and then Stats won 3-2? At Aces ROG offline event in Finland? That was the one that Grant casted, right? So I was the host actually for that tournament. I was not a caster. Kalaris was supposed to host and I was supposed to cast. But then one day before the event, Kalaris got sick, so I was the host. Alright, so yeah, that is a long time ago. Didn't Raynor do that in the final? Yes, but Raynor is not a Protoss player. Alright guys, here we go. Round 3. Top left side, we are looking at the main base of the man who is one map away from making it into the next round of the Masters Coliseum 6. Representing Basilisk, it's Serral. 0-2 into the 3-2. I remember Stats beat him in Aces ROG, but I don't remember it was 2-0 for Serral, but I believe it. Seems that a lot of people say that that was the one. But yeah, that was way before Corona. And I kind of feel that the Corona pandemic lasted around 9 years, right? So that's over a decade ago, guys. In the bottom right side, we are looking at the main base of the man who has to do the impossible. Can he be the first Protoss since Stats to turn an 0-2 deficit into a 3-2 win? The tennis equivalent of this, guys, would be being down 2-0 against Djokovic in a best of 5 in sets. And the third set is, let's say, like 5-2 in favor of Djokovic. So you need to break him, you need to win the set, and then you need to win 2 more sets. I really think that's a very good comparison. The Prince of Denmark. It's MaxPax. What time does Home Story Cup start? It should start right now. And also a alert for all of you guys. Home Story Cup starts on twitch.tv/take. So not Take TV, just Take. That is the channel where you guys can watch the real Home Story Cup. And I will make an appearance too, but later today. Take a gift. I could not watch that match, Nux. I already spoke a little bit about tennis earlier, guys, and I don't want to do too much of that in the middle of Game 3 of Serral MaxPax. But the TLDR is that I watched Djokovic yesterday, but the second match started too late. And since I have a very long day today with a lot of driving in the car, I could not stay up till 4 a.m. to watch the second match. But when I woke up, I was a bit sad. I kind of wanted to see Alcaraz. But I do like Medvedev. I think he's very nice. He seemed like a cool dude. Nice sense of humor. So I'm not that upset. I was just kind of excited for something that's now gone. Pretty early Roach one this time around. Alright, we cancel it. Did Serral get an early Roach one just in case it was Twilight and then it wasn't Twilight and he cancels the Roach one? Raynor, confirm please. Is that what happened there? Sees the Oracle. Yeah. Okay. So Serral guys dropping a Roach one, a just in case kind of Roach one, in case MaxPax was doing something a bit different. I'm really kind of sad, guys, that so far in both Game 1 and Game 2, we did not see MaxPax do what I see him do almost every single PvZ. And that is not 2 Adepts and Oracles, no. That's 2 Adepts, 2 Adepts, 2 Adepts, 2 Adepts, 4 Adepts, 6 Adepts, and 3 Oracles at the same time. It's maybe almost like that in Serral, in MaxPax's mind. Serral is so freaking good that going for a style like that is not going to cut it. He does it against other Zergs because he believes in his multitasking. He believes in the ability to find the damage that he needs. He's going to try this time around by the looks of it. Because I see at least multiple squads of Adepts and I see a 3rd Oracle. But this is what I think normally makes MaxPax so fucking amazing to watch. I would have preferred the Shade here, to be completely honest. He's going to go here. We've got Adepts. Oh, move command tiny bit. Still gets a couple though. The 2 Oracles still alive. I mean, we lost 4 Adepts, but we killed 9 drones. I kind of like it. I would like a shield battery here, by the way. I kind of like it, guys. Maxi Paxi on breakpoint. Okay. This is really scary, though. This is really scary. That's a lot of links. All the Oracles out of position, but MaxPax feels that he can still protect them successfully, and Serral does not want to lose those links. Well, not too bad, right? Trading out 4 Adepts for 12 drones. All the Oracles still alive. Like, I think you'll take that. You'll definitely take that. It could just be, like I had this as well, that when I was a Warcraft 3 player, a competitive one a long time ago, that there were certain things that I really believed in until I would play against people that I thought were just too good. And I was like, no, I cannot go for this build. This only works against other guys. This doesn't work against this dude because he's so freaking good. And maybe that's what MaxPax had a bit of in Game 1 and Game 2. Where he felt, I don't want to just donate a bunch of Adepts, not find damage, and put myself behind. But yeah, you gotta trust a little bit in your own game. And your own ability. And so far, I absolutely do not hate the start for MaxPax. He's got the double forge as a follow-up. As long as we don't do something silly, obviously, guys, with the Oracles. The Oracles are very, very important here. Road speed on the way. We have a Baning Nest as well on the side of the great Iona Sutala, who's looking for a cancel, but I think Oracle can save it here. Activate quickly. Activate quickly. I don't know. It's a close call. It's a close call. How good is that Oracle? How good is that Oracle? Not good enough. That's obviously painful. Second, 4th base attempt that gets cancelled. So Serral finding a lot with very little. Revelation goes down. Creep Tumor gets picked off. Overlord as well. This time around, MaxPax has a couple Stalkers here too. 64 probes against 68 drones. That is obviously not all that shabby, guys. Stalkers are on the verge of a very dangerous spot, but that's where the oracles come in play. They are supposed to keep the stalkers safe. Link count is very high right now, though, guys. We're looking at 90 Zerglings. And I know oracles are good and pulse beam are good, but I think you have to recall out here, mate. I think you have to recall out immediately, and I hope you have a recall. He will recall. MaxPax loses 1, 2, and an oracle. Ay, ay, ay. Good surround by Yona. Excellent surround there, guys, by Serral. And what's so cool about the way that Serral played it as well is that Serral was so active with all of his links at the bottom side of the map over and over again that MaxPax is like, oh fuck, like I need to leave more units at home. And then right when you have a few too many units at home, that's when you get surrounded on the other side of the map. Not exactly sure what these slow zealots are up to, but they're not doing what they are supposed to be doing, so they get surrounded. And it was a game where MaxPax had a perfectly fine start, and it felt like it was all going somewhere. The last 2 minutes definitely a whole lot better. Mate, you have no recall, by the way. I hope you know that. Link count still at 67. War Prism tries to get lucky in the main base. That is a lot of zealots. If all of them finish up, could be annoying for Serral. War Prism does die, but this is still a lot of zealots to worry about. And a couple of queens are not going to have a good time, so Serral needs to send his army over. But if he sends his army over, you need to worry about these stalkers too. MaxPax, you do not have blink. Stasis Trap is big. Is this the moment, guys, where MaxPax will finally get some victories in this best of 5? Stasis Trappy not all that bad. Serral doing whatever the hell he can to hang in there. But you guys can see that this game is a night and day difference. Oh, poor Zergling, by the way. Because Serral does not have an 8-minute hive. Serral does not have adrenal glands on the way. 85 drones, million banelings everywhere. No, Serral needs to battle with the basic Zerg units. And that's obviously not something that is necessarily a problem, because Serral is very good with them. MaxPax is bleeding out a lot of stalkers. At the same time, still trying to make a lot of magic happen. Can we split the zealots a little bit? How good will these Bane link connections be? Nice little pickup there. Serral supply is definitely holding strong. MaxPax is dropping in supply, but that's also kind of what basic gateway units are for. As long as we keep spending our money, get some cannons, make sure that we create a bit of map vision, like 3 oracles at home and an observer at home is not what he needs. I don't hate the idea of a Colossus, but I would then like extend the thermal lens. I would actually kind of like a second Robo maybe. Serral's not going to give MaxPax a whole lot of time here, guys. Serral is maxed out, and I know it's always silly to call things an all-in when it's like 5 bases and there is so much, but in a weird way, these next attacks by Serral are kind of all-in. If one of them is an utter and complete shit sando, he's in all sorts of trouble. Serral needs to do a lot, will probably do a lot. Don't get me wrong, great stasis trappy, by the way. This is really where that Colossus can come in very handy. The roach count is not that intimidating. It's stasis trap galore over here. Now MaxPax has a Templar Archives finishing up. A couple Archons would be sick here. Really good start, but you need to be careful, MaxPax. Serral can turn around immediately as soon as all of these units come out. Another big stasis trap, more banings. Oh my goodness, these nerds are video gaming right now. There are zealots on the top right side of the map. There's a War Prism in the main base that lives. Chill, MaxPax, chill. Why is he moving out, guys? You don't have thermal lens yet. You've got double forge. Oh my goodness, 22 probes died to banelings. Yeah. But I think it's something he can survive. This is Lair Tag Zerg. Couple cannons, couple batteries. That's right here what MaxPax needs for this series to go on. Serral is very, very, very committed, guys. 38 banelings, 16 links, Lair Tag. No hive. I actually think that if this finishes up, this Colossus comes out, MaxPax just needs to spend his money on static defenses at this point, and then he's cooking. The doors kind of, I don't want to say are wide open. Another stasis trap. Oh, careful with those Colossus though. Here comes the great Yona Sotala with a surround. MaxPax a little late to respond, and that means he's going to lose 2 out of 3 Colossus very quickly. Oh. Can he save at least one of these Colossus? He's losing 10 more probes. We're going to kite. Do we have any cannons and batteries here? Doesn't really look like it. Obviously, this went very good for Serral, guys. He gets the base, and he gets 2 out of 3 Colossus as well. Now, that shield battery overcharge here could honestly keep this setup alive. We need to overcharge. Serral needs to be a little bit careful. Does MaxPax have the ability to warp in some units? We need a little more firepower on the side of MaxiPax. See, that overcharge is very good, but it is not good enough. He leaves the game. And it's a 3-0 for Serral. On lair attack though, guys. Lair attack, 71 drones. These attacks was so important. This was everything for Serral. Because if one of these attacks fails, there is no comeback as a Zerg. You're not just gonna sit back, make a couple drones and go hive. This right here is what wins Serral the game. A marvelous engagement. MaxPax did not expect that many units to come in from the right. Was too focused on the left. Obviously looking for damage on the other side of the map. Couple cannons, couple batteries. This stasis trap, guys. This stasis trap. Gets a few links. And all these veins. It's a shame. It's right before extended turbulence. Right before 3 Colossus are together. Couple cannons, couple batteries. We have a Templar Archives as well. And I don't think we made a single Archon. Having like 2 Archons together with Colossus is so good against Linkbane as well. Yeah, it is what it is. It is Serral who advances 3-0. A best of 5 that I think had its moments. But overall, I can imagine a lot of you guys hope for more back and forth. Hope for more drama. But the man from Basilisk does do it. He advances into the next round. That means that we are now left with only Zergs and Terrans. I believe we're going to hop into NA for the rematch of Game is 8. Why no sentries? Probably felt that he had no gas for that, or the gas that he did have he wanted to spend on Double Forge, Colossus, Stalkers. The expected result, I'll be honest, I didn't really expect the 3-0, but it is what it is. 86% of you guys believed Serral was going to win, and Serral made y'all very proud. The man from Basilisk moves on. I'm going to start the next prediction. Clem versus Maru, Gamers 8, a rematch, Bok. Claim all. Liquid, Clem, Maru. I will give you guys 10 minutes. Play my suggested strategy. I can't play any strategies, guys. I'm in the middle of casting a tournament. 1 best of 5 down, 3 more to go. If Maru beats Clem, Serral wins the tournament. I don't know if that's how it really works, but Take said they won't be on time today. Okay, so they haven't started yet. I will obviously, guys, rate the real Home Story Cup as soon as I am done. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take a little break. We'll grab myself a snack. Happy for Serral, happy for my teammates. Sad as a neutral StarCraft 2 fan that it wasn't a little more dramatic back and forth. And obviously my Protoss heart is bleeding a little bit, but it is what it is, right? Take a tiny break. After that, we'll be back with the rematch of Gamers 8. Clem versus Maru. Liquid Clem, that's right.
Liquid Clem.
This is a big one. I want to take a break, but I also don't want to miss the lobby. Alright, Clem is here. I'll see you guys in a tiny bit, guys. 3 minutes after that, I'll be back. That's very weird, mate. Following since 29 seconds ago, and BAM! He's gone. But obviously, if he asks for forgiveness, we'll give him another chance. Who won? Serral won, 3-0.